Page 17, melody on C and G. At the top of the page, they're talking a little bit about the treble clef or the G clef. We generally don't call it a treble clef G. It's a treble clef or a G clef, and I've already explained that in the previous video. However, I explained a whole lot of stuff in the previous video, and I don't expect you to remember all that junk. But it's important that you do know it all. So I'm going to keep going over it and over and over and over it as we go through these videos. And in this lesson, we're talking about the treble clef sign. Now those little handwritten things, that's sort of how it's evolved, because music and music notation have evolved over the centuries, over the hundreds of years. And the treble clef, well, you see it, it's at the beginning of the line there at the top of the page. They have a staff there with that treble clef, weird looking thing. The circle toward the bottom, it's the bottom half of the clef, the circle. It curves around. There's a line that goes through the middle of that circle. That tells you that is G. It is a G clef because it's pointing out where the note G is on the staff. If you know where that note is, you can figure out any other note by going up or down the alphabet. Notes are on lines or spaces. Well, if it's on a line, that means the line goes through it. It's not above the line. The line goes through it. We say it's on the line. If it's between the lines, we say it's in a space. So we can have lines or spaces. That's what you get. So you need to know these two notes now. We already know middle C. I had that on the previous lesson. That's on a little line below the staff. That's middle C. You know that note. Now it's time to know G in the music, and the G we're talking about is the G right above middle C. So middle C is here, the G is right up here. And I'm assuming you know the names of the notes on the keyboard, because you need to know those too. If you don't, well, let's get them. Any C is below a group of two black keys. Middle C is the one in the middle of the, it's not exactly in the middle of the piano, but it's in front of you when you're sitting in the middle. It's right there. And that's the middle C in the staff we're seeing. So when you see that note in the music, you play that key on the keyboard. Well, G is right above that. So when you see a note on that line in the treble clef staff, you play that key on the keyboard. And those are the two notes we're using for the treble clef here. Then you see in melody on C and G in the music, the bottom staff is empty. There's nothing in it. So we're only using stuff in the top staff, and so we're going to use the right hand for this. Now the little numbers above the staff, look at the first note there in melody on C and G. Above the staff, there's a 1. It says 1 on, and there's a line. 1, remember the finger numbers? The numbers are fingered with thumb is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's telling you to use your first finger or thumb, finger number 1, on C. So you take middle C and you put your thumb on that. And if I put my thumb on that, I'm just going to put the other fingers on the keys next to it. Just like so. So that tells me where to put my hand at the beginning of this. I'm going to go there. You're wondering what the little line, they want you to put in the name of the note. Well, 1 on, and you're on a C. So you put in a C. And then for the half note, that is the G. It's the G clef. So 5 is the 5th finger. 5 is on G. Here. They don't need the finger numbers in the next measure. The 1 and 5 together, they don't need those. But it shows you how they do it. Because now we got two notes that are directly in line vertically, so that means we're going to play those notes at the same time. Technically it doesn't, but let's pretend it does. Here. So you put your fingers down, you're going to use 1 and 5, and you're going to lower the whole hand down. Don't try to hold the hand still and push the fingers down. No, you lower the whole hand down. For when you're playing more than one note at a time. Now when you're playing only one note at a time, it depends on the music. You might lower the hand, you might just move the finger, or both. So here, two or more notes, we lower the hand. So forget the counting, forget the rhythm, just get the notes. At the beginning of this, you have 2 C's, and then a G, and then a C and G together, and then you 2 G's and 2 C's. And that's all we're doing on here. Just make sure you can play the notes, okay? Try and play this without looking at the keyboard now that you're not moving around or nothing. You need to remember which finger's on which note. So try and keep your eyes on the music when you do this. Now we add the rhythm, the counting. Well, it's in 4/4 time. Remember 4/4, the top 4 tells you how far to count. We're counting to 4. Or it tells you how many beats are in a measure. Remember the measure is the distance between those vertical lines. It tells you how many beats are in there. And the bottom number tells you what you're counting. If you're going to count something, it's nice. Okay, you're counting quarter notes. So a quarter note gets a count. And there's the same as 4 quarter notes in every measure. Well, in the first measure, you have 2 quarter notes. That's 2 counts. Then you have a half note. Remember, a half note's the same as 2 quarter notes, so it gets 2 counts. So the 2 quarter notes and the half note together make 4 counts total. And we would do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're just holding the half note down for 2 counts. Next measure, the half note comes first. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So see, it's telling you how long to hold the notes down, or the rhythm. Now I'm doing it a measure at a time, and that's fine when you're first learning it. You may need to do that. But it's got to be to the point where there's no pauses or anything. It just goes straight through. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The beat just keeps going. I'm not going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, you just keep going. So the first few measures of this is here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. You get the idea? At the end of the line, you get whole notes. Remember, a whole note is the same as 2 half notes or 4 quarter notes. So a whole note you hold down for 4 counts in 4/4 time. So it's the whole measure. That's why there's nothing else there. It's the whole measure. Now, on top of that, let's talk about a few more things. Once you have the notes and the rhythms, we dig a little deeper. See, when I learn a piece of music, I just take it a little piece at a time and I sort of build it, because there's so much there. Even in this thing, there's a lot here. We got the notes, we got the rhythm, we got the fingers, we know what fingers we're using. So now we add the dynamics. Dynamics is louds and softs. They have between the staffs at the beginning there, MF. Remember? No, you don't remember. Well, it's on the previous page. MF means mezzo forte. It's Italian. It means medium loud. Forte is loud. Mezzo is so it's loud. I can't tell you how loud that is because it's not a set. It depends on the situation. So you decide where you are and how loud do you think sort of loud is? It's just kind of loud, huh? So now we know how loud to play it. We got the dynamics. Then we just go back through and we work on it and get rid of any hesitations anywhere, because that beat, once it starts, it's got to be steady. It's like a metronome going all the way through. And use a metronome if you have to, but steady beat. And try not to look at your hands here. Try to keep your eyes on the music. And so you got to develop a feel for the keyboard. You got to be able to trust your fingers to be where you need them to be. One more piece to add, since they put it in here, and I do this almost last, is the speed. How fast do we want to take it? And again, like so many things in music, it's not clear. It's not an exact value. It's a range. It says above the staff at the beginning, moderately. Well, that means a moderate speed. It's not fast, it's not slow, it's just somewhere in the middle. Well, what is that? Depends on how much coffee I've had to drink as to what moderate's going to be. So you decide what it is, and once you decide it, that's going to be that speed all the way through. When you're first learning it, you might have to go really slow. But you can gradually speed it up as you practice. Now, take a look at the second line of this at the beginning, above the staffs. Right above that treble clef sign, there's a 5, number 5 with a little box. That is a measure number. That is the way this publisher does measure numbers. Different publishers do them differently. But that is measure number 5. And if you count them, well, you got 4 measures in the first line, so yeah, this is measure 5. That's important when you start playing with other people. You notice there's a duet at the bottom of this. That means you could play with someone else. And that's where measure number 5 comes in, because you might be practicing together, playing together, and mess up in the middle, and you need to start someplace. You don't always want to start at the beginning. So you got measure numbers to tell you where to start. And if you don't have to start at measure 5 either. I could start at measure 7. Because if you know where measure 5 is, you can count across 2 measures and find measure 7. And that's what that measure number is. You see at the bottom, about in the middle, going across, there's a little 5 in a box. Well, that's measure 5 on the bottom line. And then finally, in between the staves, they've added words. C and G song, play this C and G song 2, 3, 4. I don't sing in these videos. If you want to sing that, you go right ahead. You sing it and you just have a ball with it. I can't hear you. I don't care. That's up to you. To me, singing adds just a little more hardness or complexity. It makes it a little harder, because now in addition to playing, you got to do the words. I'll leave that up to you. Some people love to sing and play at the same time. I generally can't do it for a hoot, so I don't even try anymore. I just play the music and let somebody else do the singing. So if you want to sing along, you go right ahead. At the end of the first line, you've got song, and then in parentheses 2, 3, 4. Well, song is what you'd hold out. The 2, 3, 4 is just counting. You do that in your head as you're holding out the word song. Now, toward the bottom of the page, there is a discovery. Let's talk about that briefly. It says to play this hands together, and what the left hand is going to do is going to play a pentascale. I spoke a little bit about pentascales. Yeah. Penta means 5, and you got 5 fingers on the hand. The idea is put your left hand in C position, an octave below middle C here, and you're just going to play each finger here, but you go up and down. That's what they're doing. They want you to do that while you play this melody here. Can you do this? Because you're using different fingers in the hands. Here, here, and then here. Can you do that? That's a little trickier. Now, if you can't, don't worry about it. Skip it. Let's go on. But if you want to try that out, great. Go for it. It gives you an idea. Now you're playing 2 hands at the same time, and you're doing different things in the hands. And that's something we have to learn to deal with and to learn to do. Now, I'd like to play this with you very slowly. And let's double check the notes and the rhythms. You should be playing the same note I'm playing at the same time I'm playing it. So I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready, go. Now let's play this together. So go ahead and put your hand here. And here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Off. Now there is a duet at the bottom of this, so I would like to play that, and you play what you just played, and let's play it together. I'm going to speed this up a bit, so make sure you can play it all the way through with no hesitations or anything. So go ahead and put your hands here. Your hand here, actually. You can leave your left hand on your lap or wherever. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go.